I don't remember what we did in the second half. I'm not sure we did much of anything. We weren't good today. We were off. We were definitely off. We were missing on all cylinders, and it's the reason why we lost. Had a big effect on the game. Really did.
I'm sorry. Did you see signs of the offensive struggles in the first half?
No, I mean, it was 14-13 lead. It was a good game. I mean, they're milking clock. They're doing certain things. You would think that, they got the first possession. Pretty sure we got out of it. I can't remember. And then, ready to play second half football. Just wasn't our day.
And on their first possession, they got that slant play for the big touchdown and took it home.
Yeah, we lost. That was right after we lost an official, and it was a good play on their part, I would say.
Okay. Can you talk about did you see that have an effect?
Had an effect on the game. There was things, but you can't. It's not an excuse. I mean, even though you were minus one official, it has an effect on their game as well. I mean, we can go out there and play a game with no officials. That's not an excuse. I hope the official is good. It looks like he was seriously injured. We had to do it with 6. I'm not sure I've ever gone through a game with 6 officials.
Coach, how come you didn't take the points? You went for it on 4th and goal on the 2. It seemed like things changed from that point.
I doubt that. I knew in my gut that it wasn't going to be a field goal game. It was going to be a 2-touchdown type game. It was a good opportunity to go get it, and I wasn't going to pass it up for a field goal. And then based off the final score, I was right.
We talked about the play call there. It was a fade on the 4th down pass, or 4th down play.
Same play that beat Indiana. I think it's a good play. There was some stuff that went on, and we didn't make the play.
Will you talk a little bit, going back now to the end of the game, you're down 2 scores, James gets that first down run and then promptly fumbles. Will you just talk a little bit about the effect there?
Well, that was a key part of the game, and it looked like from the thing in the stadium we were going to be okay, but I guess the review official saw it another way.
You thought he was down before he fumbled?
Well, I don't know what I just looked up there and saw the picture, and I started calling another play. I thought we were going to be okay.
What kinds of things can you do as a coach in the game in the second half to try and get the offense started there? Was there talk about changes in personnel?
We weren't going to change personnel. We're not going to start a quarterback controversy. We're not going to do any of that. The guy's good enough to beat Indiana, and he's good enough to beat Western Michigan. It was just a matter of execution. We did not execute well today, and it's disappointing. But it really doesn't affect on what we're going to try to do. It gives us one loss, but if we take care of business coming out of the break, we'll have an opportunity to win the East, and that's what we want to do, which gives us an opportunity to get to the MAC championship.
Coach, was there anything Western Michigan did defensively in the second half that kind of halted that execution that you talked about?
They just blitzed almost every single snap, and we couldn't complete passes.
Was there any LFX coach from James getting shaken up? Did he seem like he was off a little bit after that for the rest of the game?
Well, I'm not gonna put that on James. But last time I checked, we went in with a 14-13. It was 14-13 at halftime. If they never scored again, we were going to win the game. We had opportunities in special teams. We had opportunities in runs. Guys caught balls, passes. The greatest thing about football is one guy doesn't make a football team. This is not basketball with LeBron James. Okay. It takes 22 cats to win this thing, so it takes 22 to win it and 22 to lose it, including the coaches.
Talk about DJ's impact on defense. Stepped up big for you today in a lot of plays.
I thought normally when a guy comes back from an injury, they normally have to play a game before they show up. I thought that DJ's play in this game, I haven't checked the tape. I don't like to talk about checking the tape, but it seems like he played much better than a guy that is injured normally plays after their first game back. It seemed that way. It really looked like he made a difference in the game.
To paraphrase what he said. When I asked about that pass play, he said, we lost an official, and they made it was a good play on their part. Are you suggesting that the loss of the official had something to do with that play?
Not at all. Not at all. It was a good play.
Okay, that's the way you said it.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
No, I just want to make sure
Oh, well, the play, what happens when you lose an official, they have to squeeze. Instead of playing with 7, they have to play with 6. And when you, those less eyes, there's dead spots. And it was a good call by them.
We talked earlier in the week about, I think it was 8 of their 11 players on defense that placed this offense before. How much of an impact did that have, do you feel, on the way the offense performed today?
Yeah. You know what? We had guys open. I mean, there were plays to be made out there, and we just weren't making our plays. And we've gone through a nice little stretch. We've gone through a nice run of every time we needed a play, we've made it. And we just didn't make the plays this time. It doesn't make us bad players. It doesn't make us bad coaches. It means we've got our first loss at home, and we need to rebound after the break. It leaves a salty taste in your mouth for 16 days. That's for doggone sure, but we'll be okay. We'll bounce back.
When you talk about the play of the defense in the first half, outside of the touchdown, which came off, I want to say it was off a turnover or a short field or something like that. No, it wasn't. They got it on 36. I'm sorry. But outside of the touchdown, they got in the red zone a couple times. The defense held them to short field goals. I mean, is that a continuance of the better play with the defense recently, or I mean, in your eyes?
Well, I think the defense played good enough for us to win. They won't say that. You know, they'll say that, hey, they had a lead at halftime. I mean, for our defense, the way they played good enough to win. They played good enough to win this game. We just got to find a way to score more points and defend games.
Recently, it's been the defense making that late play to save the victory for you guys, whereas this week it's on the offense and they weren't able to make that play. So kind of just like, what's the mindset after that? Is there anything specifically you're looking to work on this off week?
Well, the good thing is we've got a lot of time to work on stuff. And the main thing when you go into a break like we're going into, this is the longest break I've ever been a part of, by the way, is that you need to come out healthy. You don't need to be doing things where you come out and your team is just as banged up as when you went into it. We've played a lot of football since the start of August. It almost seems like WKU was, 1,000 years ago, and it wasn't. So what we need to do is come out of this thing completely healthy. So there's no aches, there's no bruises, and guys are 100% when we step on the football field.
I asked around, when was the last time that BGSU was shut out in the second half at home, and nobody didn't seem to answer that question. Is that something maybe you can bring up to the guys? I'm sure that they don't like it. Maybe they try to build off of it and find a way to get some momentum. I guess the next time out.
Okay, ask that question again.
Again, nobody knows when the last time you guys were shut out. So I mean, at home in the second half. So is that something that you'll stress and try to like build off to try to find momentum? Because I'm sure the offense doesn't like the fact that they were, weren't able to put points on the board in the second half.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I don't know the answer to that. This is the first. I won't even go there. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I really don't. I guess I'm not hearing your question. Try it again because I want to take care of you. I'm a little spatterhead right
It's
now.
okay, Coach. I asked around when was the last time BGSU was shut out at home. No one seems to know the answer. So obviously it doesn't happen often. So is that something that you bring up to the offense? Because I'm sure it's not something that they're about to try to find a way to put points on the board because it's something that just doesn't happen here.
Something that doesn't happen here. I'm not sure that as an offense we've ever been shut out in a half. I'm not sure that we've ever been held to 14 points in 3 years. This is my first home loss in the regular season in 3 years as a head coach. There's a lot of records that have gone down. But we're going to be humble about this stuff, guys. They did good. Okay, so let's go and regroup. Everybody wants to see what you're going to do from now. Okay? And again, we're still writing the story. It's just another chapter. We're still writing the story. Those guys in that locker room are saddened but they're eager to get back on the football field again. And my goal is to make sure that the next time they get on the football field, they're healthy and they're fast. That's the best thing I can do for them.
You talk about the 16-day stretch. Is that harder after a loss?
It's always harder after a loss.
I mean, I suppose you could make the argument that it's a good time to sit back and, as you talk about, reflect, get healthy, get better and all that, but it gnaws at you longer this way?
There's no doubt. Wouldn't be telling you the truth if I answered you a different way.
Is there anything technical on offense you guys are going to try to work on over the next 2 weeks to correct anything that went wrong this week?
Well, I think the main thing is there's certain things that happen when you take a 16-day break, okay? You have to make sure that you keep your throwing game sharp. So we're going to work on our throwing game. You got to make sure that the DBs and those guys, those minor muscles are turning and twisting. You got to work them. You got to run them. You got to make sure the big guys don't, gain 10, 15 pounds with 16 days off. But we'll do all those things. We'll do all those things. But the main thing is to go back and watch the tape, get a good evaluation. We'll meet tomorrow. We'll give them their 16-day break schedule. There'll be an opportunity for them academically to catch up, write papers, take care of labs, get all that stuff out of the way. This is an academic situation too, student athlete. So it's not going to just be football. Throw out the football and put them in a room and beat them up because you lost a game. You can't do that. So we got to make sure we're handling the academics and all that kind of stuff. This is a good break for those guys to get ahead in the classes so that when we come back with the next, I believe it's the next 4-game stretch, that we've taken a little bit of that mental academic load off of them because they're ahead and their bodies are right, and then we're ready to go for the last 4 games.
Coach, going into a 16-day break with this salty taste left in your mouth, do you think that's going to help them be even more eager to get out there and tackle and crucial?
I sure hope so, man. I really do. When you have a loss, the only thing you can do is wait for an opportunity to play again. Our situation is that you've got to wait 16 days. Okay? That's a long way it's a long time to simmer in a crock pot sitting in the kitchen. So hopefully we'll be right when this break is over.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you.